Oops, I missed that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with the Divergent Gaming Amateur Tournament here. And before we get started with the grand finals between what I believe is going to be Team NOM taking the win over Gale Force Esports, who I believe were
Woo!
expected to be second here at this tournament. I'm really excited. But before we get to that, we do have a couple of quick sponsors and ads and everything that we need to throw out to you guys. Number one is to Red Rook. That is the tournament sponsor for this tournament that allows me and Kai to be here and all you guys to tune in and see these awesome games and give all these teams an opportunity to grow in the scene. And ultimately, I mean, this is where teams start to essentially become pro. So shout out to them. You guys can check them out at theredrook.com. Also, Divergent Gaming has a TeamSpeak for Quick Match and Hero League and Team League and even coaching analysis for the members. And you can amp up your gaming by joining at divergentgaming.com. And then also there is crowdfunding involved with these type of tournaments, and there's a big shout out to Killcrit, who donated $100 and reached the roasted level of sponsorship before the holidays. Thank you for the continued support from Killcrit there. Thank you very much. And then you can find out more, everybody who is interested in the crowdfunding. Remember, all that crowdfunding does go to promoting the scene. And you're like, well, I'm not that much into these amateur tournaments. I don't follow the teams, this and the other that much. Remember that promoting from you got to build the base of the scene. And these guys are essentially at the base. And so sponsoring and helping with the crowdfunding here, essentially, it scales up through the entire scene. So keep in mind that you aren't just helping these individuals. You're helping essentially the entire North American scene, if you will. And you can find out more of Divergent crowdfunding campaign at Sustulo, I believe is how you say that, .com, SUSTOLLO. By typing in exclamation crowdfund in the Twitch chat, you can actually get a little bit more information on that. And all donations help provide the tournament pricing. Every weekly tournament contribute to additional goals, and including eventually a pro invitational, which would be absolutely awesome. Hopefully, maybe I would even be able to cast that, possibly. Tournaments and much more. So shout outs to everybody, Killcrit, Divergent Gaming, the Red Rook, and everything else. Thank you very much. And all you guys who are out there watching, supporting, and everything else, we really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
But now back to the hype of Team NOM. I have no idea who these players are, but apparently they took out Gale Force Esports. Maybe when we get into the group, into the actual game, I will be able to learn a bit more about that. But actually, I just received the draft, and I think we're going to be a little bit late on this with all those plugs coming in a little bit late. The amateur tournaments move far faster than any pro tournament I have ever been in by a absurd amount, so I guess my timing is always terrible, but we'll see what's going on here. Give me one moment, guys, to get this draft going. I gave you the link there, Kai.
I got it.
All right, and here, loading it up here. All right, we aren't a little bit too late on the draft. It hasn't started yet, so we're just going to be waiting on that. But Team NOM, do you know Team NOM?
No,
Team NOM?
I don't. I don't know anything about them.
Do you know much about Gale Force Esports? I believe that they're pretty successful in this tournament. We watched them pretty much obliterate all the competition last week, and that's, I mean, the struggle of best of ones, but also does Team NOM, like, I mean, do they have some kind of secret strat? I'm just so excited.
Know.
I want to know these players. I want to know who they are. If I recognize any of them, if I recognize some, I'm like, oh, that's cool. They came up with something. If I can't recognize a single name, I am gonna be ecstatic. I'm like, yo, the dark horse of this tournament. I'm rooting so hard for them. Even maybe being the good friend with Hawkfu and knowing him IRL and playing with him and everything else. I'm sorry. All my energy is to Team NOM right now. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, and the players from eLevate, they've been on other teams as well in the amateur scene before they were part of eLevate. They've been around for a while. They're not new. I've never seen any of these players on Team NOM before either. On any other team, I don't know them.
Are you looking up their roster right now? I actually haven't even gotten to see their roster. Can you do that through?
Yeah, you can do it on
oh my goodness.
In the
Can you list the players' names?
bracket here. Let me pull it back up. Sorry, I just closed it. Here, I got a bracket. Oh my gosh. Chad, why do you do this to me?
Dude, I'm sorry. It's okay though. The draft isn't even up yet. I do have the link. I gave it out, but they aren't starting yet. It hasn't gotten nearly as swift as the earlier drafts. But do you think this is actually the official best of three? By the way, beforehand I did say that it was a best of three, and it actually wasn't.
Why did you do that?
I got that wrong. That is my bad. for that, guys. So we did see eLevate actually move on and not going to be facing THC again, but THC did some things this week as well that I was pretty impressed with. I just very much like the fact that even though they do fall behind, they don't let the team just stomp all over them, and that's it's a really satisfying thing to see.
Very, yeah. I just I like the drafting that eLevate has done. They've made really solid teams. You can't say it's like an exciting draft, but
Yeah,
it's a draft that, they don't have any like open holes where you're gonna
exactly.
pick their team apart.
Yeah, no, very much. They've set up their draft with the mentality of like we know roughly what our comp is going to be. It fits to our strengths. We're just it doesn't even matter the map at this point for them. I do think their comp definitely has its strengths on chokeholded maps like Cursed Hollow more than
Mhm.
it does on others, but I would agree with you. Their comp doesn't seem to have too many holes. Did you end up figuring out who's on Team NOM? Because Team NOM did end up rating up, I believe, eLevate. One of their members is actually restarting their computer, and then they will be getting the draft. So,
I'm getting it back open. I forgot how I did this last time I did it. Gotta like get to the signups.
in the meantime, do you think we'll see eLevate running the exact same comp that they've kind of been going for? Do we think we'll
God,
see
stop doing that, please.
the predictability? Do you think we've seen this rogue team of Team NOM? Do you think they're just gonna come out of nowhere and just like we've seen you draft and we're just gonna top deck and wreck them? I mean,
Somebody has to know at this point what eLevate has been doing the entire night. I hope Team Nam or someone next week knows what's happening.
yeah, with
Uh,
their strategy. Hopefully, they look over to see what eLevate did in every draft and that it is pretty similar. But or I mean, a simple answer to that, granted, in a best of three, most likely will swap no matter what. A simple answer to that is just taking away the first pick from them if they do have the fortune of doing so. And even though we haven't got to figure out who's on Team 9 yet, we will probably in the near future. But the draft is actually already going up here.
yeah.
Um, we have eLevate with the first pick, and they actually banned the Abathur. I wonder if that was the counter that took out Gale Force in the last round. Abathur is not necessarily bad, but not necessarily great either here on the Sky Temple. Um, I would say I don't know. It's definitely one of his better maps, but I wouldn't go like, oh, you better look out for the Abathur here on this map. So a new first ban coming out from eLevate. I don't know if Team NOM will be avoiding the Tyrande at any point here. They banned the Thrall. They're just going to take away that first pick. Probably going to be a pickup Tyrande here from Team eLevate, but Murden, they're just not even going to take it. I wonder if that was a call out. If they just said, we know you can't play Tyrande, and they just banned Thrall. If that was research done in favor of Team NOM right now, I'm pretty impressed. But we could see just eLevate just prefers the Murden over the Tyrande here. It's been a long time. This is actually the first draft I think I haven't seen Tyrande first picked or in the ban rotations of the first wave. Raynor Tyrande being picked up here from Team NOM. Those are very solid picks, but they don't work too well together directly. The Murden and Uther being taken. Uther's a pretty good response to Tyrande and Kael'thas. So now they don't have very good CC that's going to be able to help Tyrande in the early game. You're most likely going to see an ETC ban coming out from eLevate here to deny ETC Tyrande. As for eLevate's ban, or Team NOM's ban, sorry, here, I don't know what they're going to be looking to do. Uther's already been picked up by them. I think they're going to be looking to try and negate a DPS, but if they go too deep on that, they're going to actually hurt themselves here. Maybe a Sylvanas style ban. I don't know. I don't know what Team NOM's looking to do in their comp. I definitely would like to see a little bit more single target burst. If eLevate does neglect the ETC though, and their pick ban here, they actually might be a Jaina ban coming from eLevate as well. Sonya.
Hmm. So maybe they know that eLevate has a really skilled melee player, so they're just trying to take out the melee heroes.
I think Sonya is, yeah, well, Nesper is a very good melee almost only character, but the problem with that mentality is you just ban those out. What is he going to go to?
Either
It's Kerrigan.
Kerrigan.
Kerrigan or Zeratul. And you can't ban the whole way. Kerrigan works really great with every part of their composition right now. So I wouldn't be just. I actually really like the Zag ban there too. That was my misjudgment there. I would almost 100% like to see ETC Jaina. I think here. I think Jane is a must. ETC you can go without. There are a lot of stuns and knockups coming out from eLevate, but I feel like Jaina is a must. They need a lot of damage, and a lot of good damage has been banned out. They banned themselves out of all melee assassins. So I don't know where Team NOM's going to go with that draft. There we go. That is the Jaina I'd like to see. I think the ETC will help a lot with their early game aggression. ETC, Jaina, Tyrande, a lot of lockdown, a lot of damage there. So
Yeah, I could definitely see ETC, especially without Murden.
they'll wait on it just because they don't need to pick a tank here. That was something I didn't even consider. They'll probably wait on this pick. They don't have to. I, as a drafter, actually don't like waiting. I like saving my last pick to be hidden, but I don't know. They're digging a little bit into their pool. Not gonna be Johanna. Okay, I think that's a safe pick, because Mosh Pit won't gain much value. The rotations out of Johanna don't help that much here in this game, but pulling away from the ETC isn't the end of the world. I know I'm crazy when I say this, but I very much am an advocate for actually stage dive on big maps like this whenever you aren't going to get a mosh pit. Chat's probably going to go crazy for that, but I really do like that. And I think this is a beautiful answer here from eLevate. Tassadar Sylvanas. I am
like it.
terrified of their comp right now. I don't know what we're going to see out of Team NOM as an answer here.
I love solo Tassadar. Oh no, they have Uther too.
Yeah, they ran
I
with Uther.
overlooked Uther. Okay, I was gonna say I love solo Tassadar, man. Spread your wings, but no, they have Uther too.
No, I think the Tassadar is going to provide decent wave clear and isolation. Obviously, survivability for the squishies on this team. One thing that's underestimated about Tassadar on this map is he actually is one of the few healers that provides an opportunity to get a mule. And that opportunity for the mule could really help them there. All right, and then we see a Leoric follow up here. Interesting decision making. I don't think that was I don't know what I thought the right choice was. I feel like, in my opinion, Johanna's the only one that kind of sits a little bit out of position in this style of comp, but I could be wrong here. I do like double tanks a lot. I think they're very straightforward. Things to consider: grouping up for chain bomb could be really bad. Also, we have Tassadar's force wall and the isolation that could be provided from force wall. Really could hurt their team comp with having the two melees there. So I don't know. I don't know the mentality here from Team NOM. But they do have a lot of wave clear, and they have a lot of late game damage. If Tyrande and Jaina work well together in the early game, they've got a lot of damage there too. But a lot of survivability and hard CC and wave clear coming out from eLevate. They kind of have a very well-rounded comp again this game. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
I'm feeling eLevate's team comp.
Are you? If you had to choose one, you're gonna go with eLevate?
I am. Although, I mean, that Tyrande and Raynor didn't both squeak through the draft onto the same team is pretty impressive. I like eLevate's comp better.
I am gonna say, for the sake of rivaling you, and because they took out Gale Force as an underdog, and I don't recognize a single name on this team, my money's on Team NOM. That's not true. I have to give the objective analysis where I try to say I agree with you. I think their comp is more well-rounded on the side of eLevate, especially with the option for a mule. Sylvanas for the siege and hard rotations, and everything about their comp is just well-rounded. I think Team NOM has moments where they might really shine, especially in the early game. I feel like if Tyrande and Jaina are working well enough together in the early game, they might show some signs of strength. Mule is an option as well for Tyrande. Things to keep in mind: it's usually not the go-to. It definitely hurts her a little bit with her team fighting, but at the same time, I don't know if they need battle momentum or increased range here. So I'm torn. Purely off comp, I think I go with eLevate, but all my money's on NOM, just because I believe in the dark horse underdog story. Every time it exists, I'm on it.
I'm still going with eLevate, but this is also this is a best of 3, correct? This is.
Yes, this one is the best of 3, so we do get to see 2 different comps at minimum out of these teams. So.
Right. Well, then that's okay. If this comp doesn't do it for us, then.
All right, guys, I gotta insert the team names here. Oh gosh, made that really big. Didn't mean to do that, boys. eLevate, and here we have Team NOM. I believe Team NOM. Again, I haven't actually recognized any of these players, but I really do have all my eggs in their basket. What do you think, laning phase? What do you think is going to happen here? Who do you think wins in the early laning phase? Laning phase on this map is far different than it is with on the small maps like Tomb of the Spider Queen, which we've seen earlier today. Laning phase usually is ran like a 3-1-1 or a 1-1-1 with a 2-man roam squad.
I definitely see Team NOM doing a roam squad.
With the Tyrande Jaina is what you think you'd go with?
Yeah, with Tyrande.
I think Tyrande Jaina might be a decent roam squad overall, honestly, but I don't know if that's what they'll go with. But we do see here eLevate on the blue trunks here. We got Nesper sitting on the Tassadar. I've never seen him not play a melee. This is going to be good. Basic sitting on Kel'Thas. June on the Uther. Hawkfu is going to be on that Sylvanas once again. And Bossfloss on the Murd. And they are looking to get on the bottom lane for that early game cheeses we saw before. And then the red team, we have Kachi on the Raynor, Tommy Shark on the Leoric, Zugrug already getting sight on the bottom half of the map, Tyrande on the Tyrande. Wrath is on the Johanna. I think I already said that. I'm missing one though. Red Panda love the name on the Jaina. They do side him and are going to respond to the early game turret damage. They're going to actually deny it from them. Wave clear does fall slightly in favor, especially with the W talent being taken at level 1 here from Sylvanas. Does fall in favor of Team NOM. They do get the wave clear, as you saw there. Just one blizzard is about all it's going to take, and they're just going to demolish the wave. I want to see their laning phase. They do send Leoric to 1v1 the Tassadar on the bottom lane. Not the end of the world. Both of them are pretty solid laners with decent amount of wave clear. Not too much to worry about. Tassadar will get the harass out, be able to E. Johanna and Jaina are looking like they're going to get the rotation. Zugrug moving in here, but I think what they're looking for in this laning phase is a Raynor being stable in a lane and a 3-man rotations, but it's interesting they keep Raynor on mid. They're going to lose maybe some XP up here. No, Johanna's going to make the smart rotation there, and they're going to 3-man on mid. Merton is probably going to be able to survive this, but get a little bit of harass here. Overall, they are just winning the rotations. Kind of. I'm surprised they aren't running as a 4-man if they are going to make those rotations, but basics here in this shrub. This is very sketchy. Oh, the gravity lapse. It's going to actually stack. He's going to get flanked. Basics is going to actually pay for his life with this, but so will Zugrug, it looks like. Boss going very deep on him. He will end up surviving here on the top half. Red Panda love. 1W is all it's going to take, and they all walk away barely with almost no HP. They are going to cap here on mid early. I do like this decision from them, knowing that they won that small skirmish early. Early game composition, though, because Raynor doesn't do very much damage, and they only have Tyrande Jaina on the upper half, I would like to see a rotation from one of the bottom lane's characters and Tyrande accenting with Mark to be hyper aggressive on the upper half of the map, but it doesn't look like that rotation is going to come out here from Team NOM.
No, it doesn't look like any rotation coming from the bottom. The middle firmly going to Team NOM, and the top now is not going to be contested. Uther is just going to take it by himself.
Yeah, no, Uther's going to take it while sieging up in the tri lane up here, getting as much pressure as they can. I think they're looking, what you're going to see out of eLevate here is they're going to want to try and find a way to confirm top keep before any mule before any mule option is taking effect, but also with Sylvanas before the Knights come into play. But there is a rotation on top to try and finish it off. That was a good rotation. Smart job pulling back there. Jaina getting the blizzard out, the peel for herself, actually dodging the gravity lapse there. And that ultimately all came down to the early skirmish they had right on site beforehand. Basics ended up getting flanked and hurt really bad, which caused them to take the weak rotation by only capping on top.
Definitely. Down in the bottom lane, I'm worried about Nesper. He seems like he gets pushed pretty far back.
Honestly, he can't really do much to do with the Leoric overall. He can just E out the damage on him, but the wave clear is not much that he can actually handle. That was a really early Giants being taken also in favor of Team NOM. I'm very impressed with this. This is going to allow them to actually get a lot of damage on this lower turret. It seems like there's going to be no response coming up from eLevate. They are looking to get on their knights, like I said, to possibly try and confirm this keep before a mule has an option to play, but also just to get them more XP before the next shrines. Knights being answered here as well, but look in the bottom lane. No one's answering. One of the turrets is already drained, and they're just getting a lot of pressure. This is going to make their next temple. They're going to gain XP bonus for the next temple, but then also gain more value out of the temple when they cap it, leaving them to hit 10 far earlier than their opponents if they were able to get that other turret. But Giants barely die here, and it won't be the end of the world. Sylvanas and team pushing on top again, looking for that fort. I don't think they're going to get it. They're getting a smart rotation here out from Team NOM as well.
Yeah, it's just going to be knights falling to knights here.
Yeah, and Team NOM has the better wave clear, so they're going to be able to do, I guess not post 7. At post 7, they definitely have the Imperial wave clear, unstable poison, there we go. Coming out from Sylvanas as an immense amount of wave clear. Bottom turret slowly getting pushed. I don't think it'll be enough to get them the XP favor. So now that all the objectives are given out, we need to make sure that Team NOM cannot overcommit to bottom. Yeah, they're going to keep the tri-lane on top. They're going to give up the bottom temple and just try and cap on top, but then they realize that they answered that rotation. That was a very smart decision making coming out from Team NOM. So now everybody is going to make their rotation. They're going to get this final 4 minions on mid. They're going to have 75% of a level lead over them on the bottom shrine cap here, so I'm going to be really interested to see how eLevate actually makes this to level 10 before their opponent. They actually get it because of the late rotation. They're getting free shots, getting the turrets, and actually catching them up in XP. Great rotation here from eLevate, beating their opponents, realizing they were going to answer to the top key or top 4.
Is NOM going to move in to try to take this objective? They've moved their whole team down. They're not.
They just burned Toronto stun, so probably not. They honestly are just waiting for their opponent to make a really big positional mistake. So it doesn't, yeah, we haven't seen it at any point, so I don't think they're gonna. That rotation was just a little bit too late here from Team NOM. I really felt like they were gonna actually win this shrine by quite a bit. Stun comes out there on Leoric, and he's just gonna, looks like he's gonna end up falling down there. Yeah, good focus fire from Hawkfu and friends. They are gonna confirm the rest of this fort. That's gonna give them race to level 10 in their favor. I'm interested to see where they go next. Are they gonna push on mid? I don't know. They are making the transition.
Jimmy is all alone here. He's gonna have to move. Same with Jaina in the top. I'm kind of worried about them being so spread out, while eLevate is so, once again,
sticking together.
Yeah, sticking together. They rotate very well together. They already caught Leoric alone.
Yeah, no, they're definitely sticking together. Raynor with that deep flank there from Kachi. Things to keep in mind here this game. Trading from now on is going to be a disadvantage for Team NOM. The reason for that being is that there is a mule picked up by Tassadar at level 7 here. March of the Black King coming in. Basics getting de-shielded in perfect time in order to survive that. Silencing Arrow coming up, but not doing that much. Reverb doing a lot of work on that Raynor too. Keep in mind, this is a 4 versus 5, and no kill is going down in favor of Team NOM, which that's definitely going to hurt when they're side healer slash disengage didn't even team fight, and they weren't able to pick up a kill. It says a little bit about their comp by going March of the Black King. Their only true lockdown, they do have Ring of Frost actually, so between Ring of Frost and Blessed Shield, that's the only actual hard CC catch-up initiation that they kind of have to a team fight, whereas you see on Team eLevate's composition, they have so many ways to force a fight that they don't even really need to like overextend a force, which we're going to see from this Leoric for the remainder of this game. So unless we see a good Blessed Shield Tyrande mixed with Jaina Ring of Frost, I don't know how these team fights are going to go. Like I said, post 13, that chain bomb is going to be very hard to deal with. Hawkfu, meanwhile, clean Giants on bottom, getting it out of position here. Is it going to be enough? Good stun there. The Raynor actually popping his Q a little bit too early, but a beautiful stun coming out from Zugrug, predicting when he's going to hit Z, popping it beforehand, saying, Hawkfu, you're either going to E into my Lunar Flare or you're going to die just standing next to us. So good decision making there. We see a trade here coming out for bottom and top 4s. They are going to trade. Remember, the trades here are in general going to be better for eLevate, just because they do have a mule. That is something to keep in mind as long as they use that properly with the Tassadar. But a few free shots on mid here for Tommy Shark. Nothing too crazy. eLevate's going to finish out the rest of it. So we do see a 5-man rotation all coming towards mid. Interesting, this isn't on bottom, largely because of the boss threat, but
I feel bad for that force wall since it was Leoric. It was really well placed.
There we go. We see that the engage attempt is trying to happen out of the March of the Black King here, but it's not working out too well. The Ring of Frost not actually going to hit anybody here, sadly. Oh, Jaina's going to end up almost going down there. Nothing too crazy. Keep in mind, they've been getting shots this entire time off mid. They walk away barely. Oh, Leoric's going to be the only one to lose his life. That's not the end of the world. Zugrug getting caught in there. Blessed Shield coming out. Oh, that was a worst case scenario. I actually think it would have been better, especially losing that kill there, to actually save Blessed Shield and just let the person die and try and rotate to bottom. They ended up losing a person anyways and burning Blessed Shield, which means now they're going to cap on mid. They're going to rotate bottom. They're going to finish the shots on here with a small 13 tier advantage, but guess what? No ultimates are going to be up in favor of Team NOM because they use them there as that disengage attempt. Meanwhile, there's going to be two, granted they are short and less impactful ultimates up in favor of eLevate for this next fight.
So the rotation is made faster by Team NOM. They're already on the point.
Yeah.
eLevate is kind of staggering their way down here. All of the people who died are already respawned, but Jaina isn't even
rotating.
Coming? Yeah,
she's very, very late in rotation. I don't think they noticed that yet. She didn't show on the middle wave yet. But they are going to get free shots here now, knowing that Jaina isn't there yet. I think they're trying to wait on the ultimates. Ring of Frost is now up, so is Shadow Stock. Blessed Shield as well. Be very careful for a large clump. If they get a 3-man clump here on Team NOM with a beautiful Blessed Shield and stun combo, it could be the end of the team fight here. Mars of the Black King being very deep, Tron stun coming out. Look at that Murden just zoning Raynor from these team fights as best he can. Ring of Frost is going to be confirmed on Uther, but he will DG shield himself and just walk away from the situation. Hyperion getting a lot of value. Blessed Shield being missed. Oh, that is definitely going to hurt, but Basics being caught out, and they're winning this team fight. Raynor's damage slowly coming into play here, ladies and gentlemen. Keep in mind, he did not go Giant Killer. He actually went double barrel here, I believe, at 16. He did, or at 13, sorry. So he will have less auto attack base for the large health pool of Murden, but he will have a lot of stuns, especially at 16 here. Great play with that March of the Black King coming in. I think the Ring of Frost and misposition of Kel'Thas. Well, mainly Uther. Uther was forced to burn D-Shield on himself, and that led to his squishies being able to essentially die to the ring, or to the team fight later on. I really do feel like if Uther wasn't forced to use that, they would have won that team fight, especially with what was with that team fight. I don't remember Blessed Shield being missed, and they still were able to win the team fight, so that was pretty impressive there.
Yeah, how much of a problem do you feel like it was that the entire team fight was spent fighting under a Hyperion?
I think a large portion of it, honestly, was Hyperion is a lot of damage coming out. What's their team? Team NOM, sorry.
Yeah.
Team NOM has a lot of damage coming out, and it's slow. They scale definitely a little bit towards the late game as long as Chain Bomb doesn't get a massive amount of effect into a team fight. Sylvanas actually doesn't provide that much to team fights. Tassadar is essentially just like a light healer, a little bit of poke, and a isolation tool. And if they don't capitalize on Wailing Arrow and if Wailing Arrow and Force Wall, they have a weaker team fight now that the game's making it to the higher levels. Raynor is now scaling very, very hard. Jaina is great throughout the whole game. And I mean, to show how much damage he did, they missed an ultimate, essentially, and they still were able to win a team fight. But I genuinely think that came down to the use of Divine Shield. In my opinion, Divine Shield has to be used on Kel'Thas, or they will not win a team fight this game.
Right. It's really heartbreaking as an Uther player when you use it on yourself.
Yeah.
It feels like you just flushed it down the drain.
I mean, pretty much, especially when your passive is going to be able to produce so many healing. Half the time, just popping D-Shield on somebody else dying and then just healing will gain you more value than popping it on yourself.
Now, on the other side, eLevate still has this outer fort in the top lane thanks to that mule. It's healed almost completely back to full.
Yeah, and they're making the 5-man rotation on mid, trying to confirm this goes down, so the next shrine will start 100% focusing a keep front wall and half of the keep's health. Smart decision making there in order to get maximum value from this next shrine that spawned. Also having the 16 tier was allowing them to push a little bit harder, but Johanna staying top, soaking the 16. They're just going to take the even skirmish here at 16 tier for their team. Keep in mind, Raynor now has a double stun. If a single target gets out of range, like for instance Kel'Thas in that last team fight, if Raynor gets a Q on them, they're almost going to die. Ring of Frost coming out, missing everyone essentially that team fight. Huge silencing arrow coming out. March of the Black King on the back line, but the chain bomb and the silencing arrow, that was a really good capitalization. But look at this Hyperion coming out, getting a lot of damage. Raynor is still alive, boys. He did get the chain bomb on him, and it does look like he's going to be in bad position, but Jaina getting a huge Blizzard value right there. Nice ice block. She will survive this. And Raynor walking in, getting a lot of damage. That Tyrande has kept the Raynor and the Jaina so barely out of, like, from dying, like just so close. 25% maximum health and just barely getting a clutch heal on them in order to keep them alive. I very much, I've been impressed with her play so far. And Raynor's positioning is essentially winning them every team fight. That he is unfocusable, essentially. With the Ring of Frost and the isolation tools that they have, Ring of Frost, or Raynor has been almost under zero pressure, which has led to, I mean, a free casting or auto attacking, if you will, Raynor will destroy any hero in this game. So, really big shout out to Kachi for his positioning in this game, and Zugrug for the really great Tyrande heals.
Speaking of positioning, the Kael'thas and Tassadar on eLevate both got separated at the bottom side of that shrine and just destroyed. That's what killed them there. They were on the opposite side of their team, and down they went. Yeah,
no, positioning I think is a lot of this game. I felt like the team fight, the last team fight too, where we saw the Divine Shield and then also the positioning over the Kael'thas and where they were, I think is really kind of hurt eLevate in these team fights. And I'm impressed. Zugrug is not even winning these team fights through any form of like surprising like cheese or unique strategy or anything. They've just taken a pretty straightforward comp and are handing it to eLevate, who's been pretty much bodying everyone in this tournament here. Force Wall coming up with the isolation. Nesper's isolated, but post 16, Tassadar with a lot of heals. Boss has been aggro, keep that in mind. June's gonna get stunned. Nope, he barely makes it on time. Shadowstock does come out, but it will be a full disengage here. They are going bottom to clear. The race to 20 is on, and one level lead is gonna be in favor of Team NOM here. The gravity lapse is stunned. Jaina completely out of position. This might be it for the ring. Does she gotta have the clutch heal coming out? Double barrel coming into play too. The stun. Blessed Shield. He's not going to save it. Wailing Arrow from behind. Jaina does end up falling, and look at Raynor finally is receiving the pressure. Kael'thas, though, moving a little bit deep. There we go. Raynor was under pressure. Kael'thas got the Divine Shield. And a beautiful flank under that Jaina with a lot of the CC there. This is going to lead to a boss in favor of eLevate.
Yeah, Boss Floss had a really good dive. Or not dive, but, jump to get pressure on Raynor to get the good positioning. I like that jump.
Tommy Shark is trying to delay this. I really like this decision on his half. They are very weak. One thing to keep in mind, the tornado spawned on the right-hand side, and they haven't rotated to the left-hand side to get rid of this. They're actually not going to be able to take this boss, I don't think. Zugrug has Shadowstock up. There is no March of the Black King, though. It does look like this is going to go in favor of them, but he's getting an absolute ton of pressure on them to try and deny this boss. I really like this. He might end up going down for it. Honestly, he is completely so that probably is the case, but definitely a valiant attempt coming out from Tommy Shark to try and get rid of this boss. He will lose his life for this, and that is right at the same time that now they have a boss pushing and a shrine is spawning in the upper half of the map. This is suiciding for that, I think, was a poor decision, but really smart trying to look for picks there right as the boss had spawned originally from Tommy Shark and Team NOM. Meanwhile, the shrine on top is going to be spawning. The race to 20 is now actually in lead with, even though they're a level behind before that team fight is in favor of eLevate. They are going to be getting level 20 off this front wall, but there will be no keep yet. Meanwhile, on bottom, it got cleared out pretty fast. Bottom will not actually get a keep if there's a solo shrine on bottom in favor of eLevate either. They're looking to possibly force the team fight here before they at level 20. Leoric's going to capture the site, but I don't think they're going to be able to force this team fight in time.
I'm just really impressed watching, and I know you said this, but Zugrug, the Tyrande player, I feel like he is like MVP, just putting out like blood, sweat, and tears in this match.
No, absolutely. He's actually made a lot of really clutch heals and stuns overall. He did go at 13 tier. He went overflowing light as a solo healer. Smart pickup on his part, and they also realized that they aren't going to get this fight before 20 and are humbly just looking to get pressure elsewhere on the map. Bolt of the Storm being picked up here by Raynor and by Jaina. Indestructible, Leoric going with the Hardened Shield. Nothing too crazy. On Tassadar, interesting choice to go with the Storm Shield. I think that's the deal with the Hyperion damage overall, but eLevate realizes that they have the Sylvanas and might be able to siege up here. I'm going to try and force the keep with 20 versus 20. Murden's stun is actually down. Look at the Leoric flank. Ring of Frost hitting 2 targets.
All right, there we go.
Instantly getting a pick on Sylvanas. Beautiful play here. The flank with the hard engage that was very well done. Basics actually might die there. It doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Boss mounted up and got away. Nesper does not have a second E. There we go. 2 kills going to go down in favor of Team NOM. But what they need to make out of this is a big play. They have to siege up. They got to make something happen. Mid lane is the only place where they can do that because of the minion waves. They are going to get a kill. Uther has Divine Shield up. Oh, that's so sad to see after a losing team fight. He will still actually die here. Not only is he going to die, Marshall Black King, oh my gosh, Leoric getting on Basics. Basics doesn't have a blink. If they manage to get on him at all here, they're going to possibly look for game. Uther with no res, that's 3-man down. If Basic dies, that's game. That if they go for the, okay, they're going to look for get the fort here. Remember, positioning is very important here. Keep is going to go down. Sylvanas spawns in 11 seconds. Are they going to look for it? They are. They're moving in. Leoric is tanking. No, Johanna, beautiful decision. Johanna, I believe, still has her passive, which is going to lead to her having a second health bar essentially for a short period of time. Zugrug keeping Red Panda alive. They are not. They're in such a risky spot here. Rainer's actually going to go down. Silencing Arrow is going to hit 3 people. I don't think this is it. This is going to be a drone at the core.
Yeah, they don't have this. They just were too low when they went in.
No, and what happened too is one thing to consider is nobody was looking to peel off of their squishies. So what happened was, yes, they did manage to get the keep. And yes, that is awesome, but if your squishies are that low, remember, you only have a Tyrande healer. If your squishies are that low, somebody needs to peel the Murden off of him. At 13 tier, he did go Burning Rage. He has a lot of solo CC and a decent amount of damage when he gets on your squishies, so having nobody to peel that hurts very much. Meanwhile, eLevate is recognizing the fact that they don't even need to cap the shrine there. They need to make something happen elsewhere on the map. They're looking to cap on top, but keep in mind, the death timers are semi-low, but they do have a Sylvanas, and their siege is a lot higher. And their survivability on the core is also much higher than their opponents. It doesn't look like the reverse throw is going to happen, but they're panicking. They're going to back out. They're going to play it safe. Interesting decision making being made here. Keep in mind, this whole time, yes, there is a damage on the core, but remember, Tassadar with the mule at level 7 here, it means that that core is slowly getting healed up one by one by one. To set the core back to 100% health, currently at only 66. Johanna's not up yet. It looks like they're going to trade shrines for the time being. Mid-keep will not actually go down by these shots. It's going to be close. I don't believe it will. Mid-keep will not be going down here, and meanwhile on bottom, they will not be getting a keep by capturing on bottom. It'll be interesting to see if we see eLevate rotate from mid to go contest them on bottom.
I would like to see Zugrug. Well, yeah, eLevate, I would think, since they have plenty of time. Their whole team is up. They have all of their heroics up. Yeah, they're going to go bottom. They need to be aggressive now. Never mind. They don't want to.
Yeah, they're going to back out. I think the main interest for them was making sure their opponent didn't get position on boss. That could be a game ender right there if boss is captured. I also think they don't want to risk anything too far away from their core when their core isn't at 100% because it will only take a few small picks and they would actually end up being able to lose the game. Hopefully this time without dying or failing to peel off the squishies, but they're just going to wait it out here. Giants being captured, Knights being captured by their opponent. Actually, I believe they left the camp there. They are afraid of boss. That was a smart rotation there. If Team NOM had actually noticed that beforehand, that they could have possibly forced that boss there.
Where is... All right, so NOM now has... It's even. It's one keep alive for both teams. What's the play going to be here? Is it going to be going for a throw pit? Where are we?
Leoric's going to flank a team fight right around here, around bridge. He's going to try and get out of line of sight. They're going to try and clear these giants. He's going to get a deep engagement on them, and they're going to force the team fight hopefully on a bridge. The bridge is where Ring of Frost is going to get maximum value. If they manage to do that, Jaina's on mid right now, so they need to be careful. But if he manages to do that, take a team fight out in a chokeholded area, which the bridge is very good at, that will get them an advantage here. I think they need Leoric to flank to be absolutely... not absolutely successful, but extremely successful in a team fight will only happen. Here's the bridge fight. This is what they need. Jaina might blink ring. No, they're gonna let the disengage happen.
Everyone playing so safe here because a mistake from either team just ends the game.
Absolutely. Leoric getting in very aggressive. Hawkfu getting stunned. He's gonna bolt out here pretty early here. The flank is kind of happening. Ring of Frost has no one. D-Shield, Blink, and Arcane Barrier all down. Watch Rainer's positioning here, ladies and gentlemen. He is absolutely crucial to this team fight. He gets walled out. Very good wall there. Zugrug completely split from his team. Ends up going down here. That's a
And wait
one-for-one
about
trade.
Nesper, he's so
Hawkfu's getting
low.
chased. Hawkfu's going to go down. Remember, Hawkfu is running away from his healer who's about to res right now. That was really, really bad. They might actually lose this team fight here. Team NOM is looking like they might be able to do it, but oh, Leoric barely going down. Indestructible is actually going to keep him very alive. Leoric actually misclicks there. That's going to be a Johanna dying there, and they end up trading 2 for 1. Keep in mind they didn't lose Leoric, who would have been the best target in that situation. So Kachi going to be caught out here, and he will be going down. I think that might be a GG here. See if they look for a really drastic play. Raynor with a beautiful stun there. Jaina
That
with the
wall
blizzard.
did not catch him. That wall from Tassadar was just a little bit off.
Yeah, and now we sit in a situation, though, where the early cap is going to be happening in favor of eLevate. They are going to rotate bottom cap this as well. They're going to force their opponent to answer to one or the other. The minute they answer to the other, they're going to back off of it. They're going to pull away from it. They're just going to take the other keep for free and start threatening the core with the shots on the other side of the map. They only have an advantage for roughly a few more seconds here, and then it should be dead even. They realize they aren't making the rotation on bottom. Leoric going to top. I think this is a smart choice, realizing Murden's the only one up here. Murden actually loses this 1v1 early. Getting knocked out there was a little bit of a mistake here. So the rotation to bottom, they're going to be giving up top 100%, but they are going to be, what I mean to say is Team NOM will be getting top, but eLevate's saying that's fine, we're going to cap on bottom. We don't need to risk a team fight here, we just need the most amount of caps. Good stun there on June. Blizzard coming in as well. Shots are now threatening core here, keep in mind. They actually, Leoric, with an extremely slow rotation, Johanna's back at core. I think that was the worst case scenario when it came to rotations. They actually decided to lose the game there
Yeah.
by that rotation decision making. So, okay. That was probably the most interesting late game we've seen yet. I don't think the Leoric rotating top was necessarily a poor decision. What he was doing there was essentially Leoric can win that one-on-one. He did take Hardened Shield, though. Granted, if he had Spectral Leech, it would have been far better because he's very good against an anti-tank. But he can essentially say, okay, top lane, we're going to go blow for blow, and I am going to... Essentially, I'm going to stop you from capping both shrines at once, but his team was down a man because of that, and there was a 3 versus 4 in the lower half of the map. But even after committing that rotation, he then later decides to try and make the rotation down bottom at the worst time, which leads to them going, okay, we're going to cap on top, and we're going to cap on bottom. Bottom would have done a decent amount of damage to the core, and it would have been a threat for his team for sure. But if he was going to make that bottom rotation, he needed to do that at the very start of the spawn of the shrines. And instead of doing it that late, he essentially said, I'm waiting for my 4th member to spawn, and we'll contest you on bottom. So, it was just an interesting decision. I think he had the right mentality, but once he realized he made the wrong call, it was almost too late, and then he tried to recover, and by recovering, he essentially allowed the game to just end off the shrines there. But Team NOM, minus a couple of small decisions, I mean, they were the dictators of that match. Like,
Yeah. They really like, I don't know, like I was rooting for them. Like I started off really pulling for, eLevate. They've been my team the whole series, but throughout that match I really found myself pulling for Team NOM. Their play style and just their scrappiness was really impressive.
Yeah, no, scrappy is probably the best way to define them. I feel like their rotations are very they aren't on the same page necessarily, but they all like kind of have the general idea, but it's a little loose in the rotations. But then their team fighting is definitely their strongest point. I think when team fights were happening, most of the time they were making pretty smart decisions. They were doing decent soaking and everything else. But overall, no, I would agree with you. I think scrappy's a good way to put it. So
Yeah. And they really made that team composition work, like we
Yeah,
said,
no.
with the Tyrande plays, the positioning from Raynor, that was just great. I really was impressed with those 2 players specifically.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I was actually very inconfident in their composition. I thought there was essentially no way that game was going to be as close as it was, and they made it work. I think the Leoric flanks were absolutely crucial. I also didn't expect the Ring of Frost coming out. For some reason, I thought there was a welly, but that made a lot more sense when considering the Ring of Frost. Their engage became far better, and their aggression was far better, and their wave clear and everything was it essentially rounded out the comp a lot better than I had given it credit. But I think we already have the draft coming up for the next game here.
It has definitely started, yeah.
It is already started. These boys are going quick. Give me 2 seconds here. Do you already have the link?
I do.
Oh my goodness, look at you.
I got insider knowledge.
You have insider knowledge now? You got a guy on the inside.
Yeah, I do. I got a
Dang,
guy
I'm
on the
jelly.
ins. Uh-oh, first two bands are already up. Do you have it?
It's up now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's see here. Toronto was banned. So was Thrall. First pick, the Meridino. Um, I have been spoiled, so I'm afraid to say too much about my predictions. Uh, for this map, I was told that there is a pocket pick somewhere, and that I need to keep my eyes out. And now I just can't even think about it.
Oh wow. Oh, now
Um,
you have a man on the
I don't.
inside.
I
This
don't have a
is
man on the inside. Kael'Thas being picked up, not too crazy. Sylvanas as well. What do you think it is? Where are we going with this?
well. It looks like eLevate is sticking to their guns here. I mean, they had Kael'Thas last game, right? They had Sylvanas every game.
Yeah.
So not a lot of changes there. The deny of the Tyrande, that was probably a respect from last game, since that play was amazing.
Infernal Shrines pocket pick. What is it? I just can't get over it. If eLevate actually is gonna pull something out, they are second pick, so they can hide it till the very end. We won't see it until then. If you had to predict something that you think is really great on this map, what is it?
Is it something like that's gonna blow our minds? Is it like a Gazlo
I
or a Sergeant
mean,
Hammer? Like,
my-
is it gonna be great? Are we gonna love it?
I mean, the hype might be real. This is game 2, you know, nothing to lose here except for, I mean, you can go to game 3, and like
Right.
eLevate has nothing to lose at this point. They just have something to gain. And pocket strats, honestly, are almost impossible to deal with, especially from the second pick position, because they get to hide it till the very last pick, so the team can't react. So,
All right.
Rainer
Yeah.
coming out here.
Then give me something silly then. Give me that Gaz, give me the Gaz bro, the Gaz lord. I'm ready. All right, so Raynor again. Zagara we've seen I think every game. Well, not last game. Okay, almost every game.
Yeah, no, Zagara Rainer, they have an immense amount of spread damage. They don't have that great of single target. It's not bad, but they have a lot of tank killing style heroes right now in favor of Team NOM. I don't know what they're going to look to ban here. Could possibly be a tank since they already have the Muradin, but they also, at least if last game holds true at all, they do like a double tank style composition. Sylvanas Kael'Thas, pretty standard for eLevate. I think they're going to be looking to pick up something like a tank. I don't know what kind of tank they're going to look for. The Uther Band's going to come out. I'm interested to see if ETC is something that we see here.
You think ETC would be the tank of choice?
I don't know. We've seen very little of ETC, which is why I'm questioning if he will. Muradin, ETC, Jane, or Johanna are definitely like the standout tanks right now overall. And I
mean,
don't
this
know.
is Infernal Shrines though, as well. So I could see Johanna.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, you're right. Infernal Shrines, I wasn't even considering that. Sorry. I also got distracted because I got baited and outsmarted. I thought the pocket pick, I got lied to. The pocket pick isn't coming out.
oh, I'm sorry.
I got so hyped, and then I got so sad that I couldn't even think about it. But you are very right. Johanna is an absolute great pick on Infernal Shrines.
And there she is.
Yeah, Kael'Thas is also really good. You're gonna see early game when the shrines actually spawn. Johanna's W with Kael'Thas's DQ. Big damage coming out to get the clear. Morales is going to be picked up. I don't think that works very well with eLevate's typical playstyle. I'm not saying that it's a bad pick, but I find it interesting because they seem to be more of the aggressors, I guess, when it comes to their draft style. And Morales is definitely a safer, sit back, please don't kill me style hero. So, Rainer, Zagara, do you think we'll see a double tank here? I personally think a Leoric is something we're going to see. I like a double tank in their composition right now from Team NOM.
I like Leoric on this map as well. Shrines is a good map for Leoric. I don't see why not. I'm kind of wondering, though, what their healer situation would look like. We have Uther banned out. We have Tyrande banned out. Tassadar banned out. Morales already picked. Does that just leave us with Rhaegar?
Oh, the Sonya. Okay, I like that very much. And then
Rare.
I think it's going to be the Rhaegar. Yeah. Hasn't popped up for me, but you definitely need a Rhaegar to heal with those bruiser melee assassins.
It's Rhaegar.
Smart choice on the fall set to get the disengage when Sonya decides to hyper carry onto the medic. One thing to keep in mind is really, as always when playing with medic's positioning, but then also how well is Sonya going to be able to get on top of Morales? Because if nobody is trying to help peel the Sonya off of Morales, she's definitely going to have a bad time. So teamwork's going to be needed here if Morales gets out of position at all. Compositionally speaking, only composition. Who do you think's got the win here?
I like Nom's team. I like a Sonya team, and Sonya Raynor, that's a lot of damage. Raynor in the back line, just mowing down Sonya at the front, and then with Muradin to peel. I feel like that's a really strong team.
I agree with you. I think their comp is very strong. I also don't dislike Elevates though.
See, I like eLevate's team. My problem with it is Morales. I wouldn't pick Morales in that team.
I see where you're coming from. At the same time, I feel like if they get solid peels and everything else with the Morales, I don't know. So I think Sonya's going to be the key point of this game in a lot of ways. How Sonya plays and how well it works into the Morales Falstad mixed with how well Gus has played around that type of situation. I think Sonya could either lose this game for Team NOM or single-handedly win it. I feel like her positioning and aggression really, really matters this game. So.
Yep, that's true. I mean, and Sonya's like that in a lot of teams, though.
She definitely can be the game changer, the equalizer to some extent. I think it's more crucial in this comp for two reasons, though. Number one, Morales is obviously the lack of self-healing until an option at 13. And then also with Falstad and Gust, they kind of have this sit back and chain bomb Sylvanas poke comp until they need to team fight, and then they just go all in. And I think if Sonya overcommits, and what I fear is going to happen, she's either going to get overcommit, and there's going to be a stim drone Falstad who one-shots her, especially post-16 with the stun and giant killer, if that's the build that goes. Or she tries to commit to medic, and then a Gus is going to come out completely isolating Sonya, and she will die. That's what I'm afraid of. Is that there'll just be a little bit too much of an overcommit, and then it's going to punish her really hard. But who knows? Muradin getting on the medic might be enough, and Sonya can just proceed to press W and smash her face in. But we are about to go into game number 2 here between eLevate and Team NOM in the Divergent Gaming Amateur Tournament here today. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and hopefully we can get to a game 3 here. I'd really like to see NOM pull it out. I feel like obviously they had a strong lead that last game with a few small poor decisions being made that ended up turning the game, I guess, around against them there, sadly. But if this game holds like the last one, honestly, I feel like as long as they don't throw on core, they're going to win it.
Yeah, I think so. I think they have a good chance.
And here on the blue team, we have eLevate once more looking to be aggressive with the Sylvanas to try and take a turret in the early game, likely going to get away with it. We have Hakfu and the Sylvanas, June on the medic here, Basics on the Kel'Thas. Boss Floss is going to be on that Johanna once more, and Nesper is actually going to play the Falstad.
On the other side of the map with Team NOM, Wrath playing Muradin, Kachi on Rhaegar, Red Panda Love on Raynor, Tommy Shark on Sonya, and Zugrug on Zagara.
It's absolutely crucial that the red team pushes. Yeah, here we go. Team NOM is going to actually take the front wall here. It looks like they are going to be slow on the rotation. They didn't react to that in time, expecting that to come out, but I don't think it's going to matter. Keep in mind that Team NOM is actually getting the winning trade here by getting mid. It actually gives them the fastest rotational advantage. Zugrug's going to make the smart, safer rotation there to make it in time, and it's not going to hurt them too bad. Falstad with a really good flight there as well to make sure they don't miss out on any XP that they don't have to, but looks like a dead even trade, front wall for front wall so far.
All right. So down in the bottom, it's Falstad and Raynor. How's that look for you?
If Raynor micros properly, he will actually win the lane, but if he gets hit by a Q and really engaged on with the W, he's going to have a hard time. He has to very much make sure he gets the smart auto attacks and abuse his range. Zagara getting hyper engaged on top. She will barely survive. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we like to call calculated.
Calculated.
Sonya getting the engagement on mid. She will kind of win that lane-ish. Johanna's just going to look to wave clear and stuff, so it's not going to matter that much. Looking for the dismount there, but it's not going to happen. They realize that they're going to get ganked on top here, so they are going to be trying to play a little bit safer. Shrine now spawning on the lower half of the map. I would like to see what they do with rotations here, considering the fact that they have a 3-man on 3-man on top, and eLevate definitely has the better siege comp here to try and take a fort if they don't rotate.
All right. So up in the top here, I was gonna say NOM looks like they're getting here late, but I take it all back. They're pretty swift.
Yeah, they did make the rotation pretty quickly. Not going to be anything too crazy. They do have positional advantage here. Team NOM on this shrine with a 13-8 advantage for the time being. Sylvanas is clearing a wave on mid, which is going to give him a small XP advantage, but granted they are behind right now. Zugrug is now going to answer with that XP advantage, get a lot of poke on. Raynor actually overextends there. Barely going to get out of there. Rhaegar coming in for that nice heal there. But it's not going to matter, I don't think. They're trying to move in here. eLevate is in order to try and turn in their favor. They do get a positional advantage for now, but will it be enough to turn it around? They only need 8 more. Raynor is completely isolated, gets pulled in. Nesper realizes it, tries to go in. Beautiful knockback there to try and keep himself alive. Oh my goodness, the Kael'thas Q ends up confirming a lot more than expected there.
Yeah,
I don't know who's going to win this.
It's so close. Oh my gosh, 2-2
They're
right
isolated.
now.
They got it. Team NOM is going to pull that out. Noticing how their tank moves up to try and zone their team off of the Immortal in order to cap it. Really smart choice there. They are realizing, see if they bait it over this wall. If they don't, it's actually going to really hurt them. They will bait it over the wall. Actually, Johanna actually almost dies to that. Basics getting a lot of damage. They are going to 3-man push in this lane, get a front wall for free. Smart decision making. Clearing a wave on mid. Remember, this early Immortal doesn't do that much damage, so split pushing with a little bit with only a 3-man and soaking the other 2 lanes is definitely the smartest decision here. Not able to get too much on the top lane, sadly here for Team NOM, but they get first Immortal and what's looking like roughly a 3/4 to a full level lead.
Yeah, that was probably one of the closest Immortals I've ever seen. It was 2-2 there for a second.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one that close either, honestly. That was
really well done.
Yeah, no, and the positioning on Murden to isolate them off so that they couldn't get anything else unless Kael'thas threw out a Q, which he just had seconds before. Really great play there from the Murden player here. Wrath actually for Team NOM. Again, same pattern we saw last game. We see Team NOM actually pulling out ahead and getting the early advantage here. As long as they don't make too over-aggressive rotations like they did last game. Like we talked about compositionally too, I do like a lot of what they have to bring to the table. Until 13, eLevate doesn't have that much to answer to the raw damage, and Team NOM just scales really hard as well. So losing the early game to a hard scaling composition like this from eLevate is definitely going to be hurting them.
Yeah, and there's almost a full level difference now in favor of Team NOM. Team NOM has picked up 1 more minion camp as well, an extra bruiser camp.
Yeah, and they have actually a pretty awesome rotation here. They're trying to keep this Shaman alive because it sieges so well. They're actually going to get a flank on it in a couple of seconds here. Actually, Rhaegar and Raynor are slow on this rotation. Sadly, it's going to die. Falstead staying bottom to soak as much as it can. I actually see Falstead staying bottom and not even rotating. It does look like he's gonna, but this Immortal, if this fight lasts long enough, it will be enough to get them potentially a 10 advantage, which is something I don't know if it's worth risking. Great 3-man gravity laps to keep him alive if Rhaegar doesn't get the heals.
Oh,
Tommy Shark. Oh, he's just playing with that there. Barely going to survive. That amount of poke was all that was needed to turn this Immortal actually in favor of eLevate, at least for the first 20 or so. Sonya's only going to tap well. It means she's going to be low on health overall. Zagara's going to tap as well for the mana. Raynor's going to tap. I don't believe he has his passive either. So Team NOM is pretty low here. But they instantly zone their opponents. Everybody turning on Tommy Shark. He will overextend. The Sonya is going to be looking like she's going to go down. I think that honestly came down to engaging rather than tapping our well there from Team NOM. You saw Sonya and Raynor both tap wells. But wells show that, you know, they show that synthetic, like what you're going to eventually build in terms of your health bar. And it makes people really overly confident. It's both Sonya and Raynor were still, even though the bar showed like 80% of their max health, under 50%. and went really aggressive in that, and then ended up leading to Sonya's death, which is now setting them behind. I very much feel like if they had handed over that early half of that after losing that engagement, backing out completely, full resetting their health bars, that eLevate actually would be losing this Immortal right now during this amount of time. Great bait over the wall in order to ensure they get the maximum damage. XP is now completely balanced out. Falstead clearing on bottom, Johanna clearing on top to make sure that the scales stay the same. And we have on our hands a dead even game. I very much believe that false confidence of the tapping the well was really what shifted that team fight, other than the fact that they overextended a little bit in their engagement. Team NOM trying to get a pick before level 10.
Right, it's a heal over time. It's not an instant heal.
Yeah.
You can't tap a hot just like a Malfurion heal and then expect to dive in.
And Kael'thas is 100%. Oh, he's going to actually walk away here barely. Great silencing arrow to counter. Zagara and Johanna both are on top. I'm honestly amazed that Basics was able to walk away from that situation with full health now. June, great healing coming out of him in order to keep him alive, even though positionally he definitely was a little bit out of position. And something to consider this game as well, we see a medvac coming out of Medic.
Oh boy.
And normally we see a little bit of stim drum, but I guess that is not going to be the case. I think I like that answer. Medvac is probably this game. Sorry, I just misclicked there. Is not going to be used too much for a actual team fight, or not so much for a rotational advantage like we see a little bit here. Medvac, I think, is actually going to be used as a second health pool, kind of like old school Odin, in order to make sure she can't die to the Sonya without a large amount of focus being put into her, hoping her team will allow her to essentially bait Sonya into trying to kill her here. June getting the flank. He doesn't have Medvac out. He's completely out of position. Tommy Shark's going to go and confirm the kill. That was exactly what they needed. Hawkfu now is going to end up going down with one more auto attack.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Nice gust to try and isolate the Sonya, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Blessed Shield isn't up. Oh my goodness, that medvac being used up to get to the top lane and then getting flanked by the Sonya. Great decision making there from Tommy Shark. That's what they need in order to try and win these team fights. Again, it just comes down to the Sonya. But I do think that medvac, let's see if it's going to be used here to get to the top lane. I don't believe it will. Okay, keep in mind, if Sonya goes in again, there will be no medvac to keep her alive. They are down a lot of the I don't like this decision here. They don't even have Kael'thas in. They just burnt the medvac. They are going to lose this Immortal, and they burnt medvac. Is that a smart decision? I don't believe so. This is going to be interesting. Watch Sonya's positioning. She is on the upper half. She's getting free damage on her. Meanwhile, Nesper getting decent amount of damage. Haku getting a little bit out of position. Great juke there on his E. Gus isolating the whole team. Medvac's not up for 20 more seconds. Immortal's going to go in favor of Team NOM here.
It's interesting that medvac's intended purpose, moving a team from A to B, is actually the worst way to use medvac.
It isn't in every situation. It is when you're going to get dived. I agree with you. It's very weird. Great two-man maul coming out from Zugrug. Sonya's going to move up, silencing arrow, trying to counter her. Oh my goodness, that Immortal stun hitting two people. That was absolutely phenomenal. Tommy Shark just still going deep. That's going to be a four-man wipe here in favor of Team NOM. Again, dictating the pace of this game. But as you were saying, should medvac be used as moving the heroes? Yes, it very much should. As long as within 50 seconds, you aren't going to be under so much pressure, you are going to die. And it's very hard to determine. It's why it's probably one of the hardest spells to use properly in the entire game, because it's so not straightforward on when you did it right and when you did it wrong. But great decision making there to get the team fight. Medvac being used once more. Where are we going? We are going to the bottom lane to try and get this push out here. Interesting decision making. Sylva's going down there knowing that they're probably on the upper objective. That's going to be a free fort. Good rotation, getting them to 13 tier from that medvac. Interesting thing to think about, though. Let's say that the team was on the lower map objective right now.
They would be in trouble, and the rotation here is very quick to answer.
Yep, and their team fight's going to be try to force here. They do have a fort to answer to. Tommy Shark is trying to make a play happen here, but they are looking like they're going to be able to get the disengage. But again, yeah, that medvac is essentially all this game is going to come down to, in my opinion. That, and as always, the positioning of Medic and Sonya. Tommy Shark is playing very aggressive, and I really do like his style of Sonya play. I just would like to see a little bit more patience, I guess, out of June with that medvac.
Yeah, we had said it in the draft that the Sonya play could be what decides this game, now it's kind of the Sonya versus the Medvac.
Yeah, no, I very much agree. Sonya's actually going to take this camp here for free. Smart decision making out of her. They actually aren't going to back out and take this one. They have 10 seconds. I feel like this very much should have been camp that they're going to focus, but Sonya's going to just move to get a positional advantage instead. Not the end of the world. Missing your Q. Not going to hurt too much. They aren't going to wait out the 16 tier advantage here, though.
No,
Knights are going to be pushing on top. Strongest camp in the game, so might be something that they want to clear out at some point. There you go. See Sonya going for it. Going to build the Fury. They need to wait this out a little bit. Notice where Sonya goes after this top camp too. I think you're going to see a deep flank here. She's actually going to go through sight. Interesting choice here. Medvac is up for June now. Keep that in mind. Gus coming out to isolate the entire team. Sonya's overextended a little bit here. That's the Gus we were talking about. She will end up Ancestral. No Ancestral. Interesting. The Ancestral didn't come out. Silencing Arrow is actually going to go down and try and get a couple of kills. Zugro's getting the Maw out, but it's far too late. Everybody's too weak, and the Maw is not going to do anything at this point. For the team, it doesn't look like. Also, Chain Bomb coming into play here, and that's going to be a lost fight. That's the Gus we were talking about. The isolation on the Sonya might be enough to win team fights, and that was it.
Yeah, that team fight was kind of all over the place, and like you said, Ancestral was up during that engage from Sonya, so I'm not sure what happened there. And even now, Kachi getting very low, just taking down a camp. So that was a pretty poor team fight overall for NOM.
Yeah, I said it before. I love this play right here. I absolutely love this play with the Sylvanas. Go, 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 go. Get the split push as much as you can whenever the Immortal spawns. Love the decision making here from this team. They are almost going to lose the talent tier to 16, but they might get enough XP here to actually catch up. Keep in mind, because Medvac is again used aggressively, any engage on Medic right here, Gus coming out, smart decision making. That very much needed to happen, or that team fight could have been very, very bad. Nobody's been clearing the Immortal on mid. It is at 42%. 16 tier is going to be barely beaten by Team NOM over eLevate here. They aren't going to get the leap over the wall, but it's not going to matter too much. Falsets ended up clearing on top. But again, what I would have liked to see there was the minute Sonya went to go clear that Shaman on the top half of the map, if she had flanked really deep and came behind eLevate, I very much feel like that gusting type situation wouldn't have happened to where she would have been able to die, and she would have got a massive flank on the Medic. Risky rotation here. CV's coming in. Tommy Shark is getting aggressive. Medvac coming out, and they're going to just bail out of here, it looks like. Hawkfu, is he able to get in? He is. They're going to get out, and great use on the Medvac. He actually goes all the way to the top lane. It's going to be a free for it on bottom because of that decision making coming out of them. Tommy Shark's just going to clear it up, and they're going to go look to take the top fort on bottom. I push for the keep right now. Push for the keep 100%. Keep this in mind. They're pushing a fort right now while they're getting a keep front wall. This is a very losing trade across the board. Hyperion coming out, this is awesome. I would kill sidewall and just go keep, honestly. Like, look at how slow this rotation is. They're going to lose this 100%. Threaten core. Team NOM is just going to start threatening the core, forcing their opponents to back. Likely they're going to back after the front wall here. Yes, they do realize this is very risk. No, they're going for it. Just go for core. I'm interested with this decision making. They are going to end up staying here and trying to back to defend the keep. So rather than threatening the core, they're going to actually risk losing this keep as well. They are going to barely keep it alive. Keep in mind, this is kind of a 45. Tommy Shark on bottom getting in the 1v1 versus Nesper. Popping Stone Skin. One more Q or W. He is dead. He is not going to pursue that. Medvac coming out, actually getting his entire team out. I very much would have liked the decision of seeing them just rush the core and threaten them off the keep far earlier. Oh, and Tommy gets flanked with that Medvac. I didn't even notice that, but I feel like if Team NOM had been a little bit more aggressive with the rotation there, they very much could have walked away with that without even close to losing that keep and a far better advantage over their opponents here, but not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think they panicked a little bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of teams do. They don't want to go for the actual aggressive play. I guess they did take a keep, and they did keep their keep alive. That's way too many keeps for one sentence. Now they're going to take another keep. So they are coming out ahead overall.
No, this is a phenomenal rotation. They're giving up an Immortal they can't win a 4 vs 5 in, and they just got to keep. Ask me how much that Immortal is going to get on bottom lane.
Not very.
Not very much. Oh, unless they get the picks here. Has Gus been used? Gus is actually down on a cooldown. Rhaegar getting picked.
Right.
Possibly, if they get this kill here, it's going to be a very good situation for them. But if not, the Immortal on the lower half of the map is going to be baited over the wall. It will be killed. Oh, actually, there is very little wall, so it will get a lot of effectiveness. But at bare minimum, they took a 4v5 and are saying, you're going to get a keep, we're going to get a keep. They might not even get it, but the medvac rotation is going to come in. That's 100% going to be keep. I forgot to keep in mind that they do have a medvac with Sylvanas, so this will be a very effective rotation coming out of them. If they did not have medvac, this would be an extremely negative position to be in if you were eLevate. Great rotation there from them. They're getting it out. What I would really like is to see if they do not bait this Immortal onto mid keep rather than core, they might be in a very bad position here. Team NOM needs to be rotating towards their mid keep, baiting him to leap towards it. Zugrug is a little bit out of position. There he goes. It's not going to be going for the keep. It's going to be going for the core. That could have stopped this from possibly being an end of the game. Zugrug's getting a little bit out of position. Not too many ults are sitting up in favor of them. Core shield still up.
Yeah, you could see Tommy Shark and Patchy trying to pull it to the mid, but unfortunately it jumped for Zugrug instead.
60% core. Haku was already dead. It's not going to matter, I don't think. I think this is going to be GG. eLevate is going to take this game as well with a very, very, actually impressive rotational Sylvanas medvac style composition where they're just constantly, all right, you're on this half of the map, we're going to go here, we're going to split push. I like the decision. I personally, for anybody who's ever read my medic guide, I actually adore medvac. I think it's the coolest spell in the entire game without a doubt, and when used properly it could potentially be game breaking. So I very rarely get to see competitive uses of it like that, and so I was very happy to see it played out that way.
I think that was probably the best game of the night, which is good since it was
the grand finals very last game. Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, but I liked both teams play, and it was a lot of back and forth and some really good decisions from both teams. I really thought Team NOM had it.
I agree with you.
For a long time, but at the end there, especially those last two medvacs were some really sneaky good decisions to take some buildings. Maybe if NOM had done what you had said and been aggressive after they took the bottom keep and gone for core like you had thought they would, it would have ended differently.
I very much think that is a weird situation to just say just go core, right? Because you're like, you can't end the game that early, and you're right, you can't end the game that early. But nobody wants a core sitting at like 60% health because they can't really move out, and you get manipulated on the map a lot. What I would have liked to see is just kill the sidewall and kill the keep instantly, and the minute the keep goes down, threaten for the core, and then they will either back 1 to 2 people, which you potentially can pick and get a lot of damage on the core. Essentially, you say you aren't going to get anything, and we're going to get a keep and maybe more out of it, and so it was a risky, I guess, SMG-style shot call that instantly comes to my head there, but I don't think that would have totally dictated. I really feel like Sonya getting picked by Falstad, actually, not pursuing Nesper in that 1v1 and then ending up dying by the medvac flank, which was actually phenomenal, which turned the momentum of the game really into their favor.
Right.
I do agree with you. The split pushing and the rotations this game were far better than every other game we saw so far. And we saw, honestly, both sides with pretty cool, unique, different strategies. So game of the night definitely goes to this. And I'm usually a guy who kind of likes to vote for like the semifinals, like really cool strat. But this was very much a well-played game by both teams. So I agree with you.
Yeah, this was good. Good job, guys, both teams.
GG's.
I hope you come back.
Yeah, no, everybody in the tournament, if you are watching the cast anymore, please do come back. Anybody who's interested in competing in any way, shape, or form, a lot of people, when they ask my stream, they ask me, Dread, how do I get in the competitive scene? You're looking at it right here. Getting casted at the DG amateur tournament here every Friday. That's where you start. Heroes Hype is probably another source that could be used. Honestly, just competing, experience. That's where it starts. So everybody, for tuning in. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I do want to give another shout out to all the sponsors really quick. We do have Red Rook and Divergent Gaming, obviously. You guys go check out the sponsor of Red Rook at theredrook.com. Also, for those who don't know, Divergent Gaming provides a TeamSpeak for Hero League, quick match, everything else, and also I believe some coaching is done in there as well, and you can amp up your game by going to divergentgaming.com. Also, there is crowdfunding here, as I said, supporting this base of the scene here down at the amateur tournament. helps the entire North American scene. So please don't hesitate, because these aren't people that you necessarily recognize. This money is all going to benefit the entire competitive scene. And so the crowdfunding, big shout out to Kill Crit, who donated $100 and reached the roasted level of sponsorship before the holidays. And then also everybody, if you need more information on the crowdfunding, go in the Twitch chat here and type exclamation crowdfund, and you can get more information on that. And just thank you very much for everybody tuning in. I am Dreadnought. This is Kai Berries. You can follow. Where can we follow you on Twitch?
At Kyberries. Everywhere is Kyberries.
Everywhere is the Kai Berries. And
Yeah.
for those who don't know, my Twitch is Dreadnought_Heroes. And thank you everybody for tuning in. GG's to eLevate. They definitely established dominance on their territory tonight. But huge shout out to Team NOM, catching me out of nowhere for not knowing who they were or anything, putting up great games even against a well-established sponsored team here. So
Yeah, you guys were very impressive.
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, everything about the rotations and just that final set was just phenomenal. So I think that's going to be up for us, guys, and hopefully you tune in next week. I will be here. Actually, I will not be here because I actually will be out of state, but I can plan on continuing casting every Friday here whenever I am available for the Divergent Gaming Amateur, and hopefully you guys tune in next time.
All right, guys. See you next time. Bye.